And coming up later in the hour, we're going to have Marty's money-saving moment. And speaking of money, we are joined by a gentleman who lives in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's a movie producer and CEO of Free Space Productions, Mr. Glenn Bruce. His house was robbed by city employees. Mr.
I want
Bruce,
to hear about this.
welcome to our show.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. Good to be here.
First of all, what section of Philadelphia was this in?
This happened in Northeast Philadelphia. Most of the alleged actions happened in Northeast Philadelphia.
Was this a story that made the papers? Did it get any kind of press?
Yeah, well, the Philadelphia Inquirer covered it, and the Daily News tried to cover it. But when the ramifications are so large that we were recently lifted from a gag order. So there was a lot of press initially, and then it's going to be some more coming in naturally.
Now, are you self-employed? Were you working from your house? Were you using your house as a business, or did you just have personal belongings that were stolen? Take me to it.
All right, all of the above. As most people know that know me in the industry, I'm a freelance producer. I've worked with a lot of celebrities, ranging from video to music and things like that. And what happened was the alleged people, what they did were they were going around using city documents to gain access to people's homes under the color of the city. And actually, when they were going there, they were basically common thieves, just rummaging through people's items.
You mean they would get the addresses of particular people, and that's where they would target, not you specifically for like any type of revenge or something. They had it out for you. They just generically would say, "Oh, look at this guy's home."
Right.
Ooh.
Well, basically, it's we have an entity in Philadelphia called License Inspection, and they had a subsidiary company called CLIP. And I think CLIP is an acronym for Community Living Improvements in Philadelphia. It should be cowards looting innocent people.
I believe that was created by Mayor Street at the time. Am I correct with that?
Well, it was probably an indigenous effort with that administration, but basically, with their primary job is they go around the city, and if they come across a blighted neighborhood or blighted buildings, they would come to the homes, keeping vagrants out and things like that. But what these guys were doing, they were actually using this power to randomly select homes that weren't blighted, but come there, like I said, under the color of the city, with orders to try to enter the homes.
So they were using city vehicles?
That's correct.
Were there any type of city uniforms that they were wearing?
No, but they did have they had their city identification. They did have city propaganda as far as court orders or foreclosure follow-ups and things like that. And that's how they would enter the home. And unfortunately, a lot of the victims didn't have a clue. And they were actually, excavated from their homes under the supposition that, wow, I'm being put out and the city is putting me out.
And just to be clear, we're not knocking all the city employees. This is just a particular incident where this group of thugs got together and used the city by cover. Like, these were for sure city employees. Yes,
it is. These guys were brought before a grand jury. They've been identified. They've been charged. A list of charges, a myriad of charges, including official oppression, breaking and entering, all types of forgery, and death by deception, things like that.
Were they waiting till you left the house before they robbed it? Were you on vacation?
No, actually, I actually stored some of my computers. I was archiving from a lot of celebrities at a cameraman's house of mine, Philip Chase, and he had a mild fire there, and it wasn't nothing bad. The place was still secure and everything, but he gave me a call and said, "Listen, there's some guys here that's taking our things, and they come like with big city trucks." About 12 guys. They had the police there as well.
This is amazing.
They had the police there as well. And when I got there, by the time I got there, the place was already empty. So I looked at my friend and said, "Listen, these guys just robbed you." And they wouldn't give us our things back. They just walked around flashing paperwork and everything. But the grand jury, of course, they investigated a little bit more deeper, and they found a lot of startling facts that these guys were doing. Unfortunately, I wasn't the only victim. But I'm taking this personal campaign to speak out because, once again, the gag order has finally been lifted since it's been brought public to the DA, and the DA put something out.
Did it come out about approximately how long have they been doing this for?
Since 2004, it's supposed to happen. My infraction happened back in 2007.
And is it actually because of you that this has been stopped?
No, actually, it's actually what happened was these guys were doing it so much. They came across one victim who had a late husband who was a gun collector, and what happened was they did the same thing to her, and they took her things out of her home, and including the guns. One of the guns was used in a murder, and that's when it all came out.
I believe I heard this. You're right. About 4 years ago, I think this made the paper, and they mentioned like 3 or 4 names, Glenn, or was this another case?
Well, it's all jawed around the same group of guys. It's all jawed around. They were using, like I said, the official oppression to gain access and to store and actually harbor people's items. You know, like a legitimate eviction would be. You know how
all in broad daylight.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it gets even better, Marty. These guys actually took things and were selling them off city vehicles onto the street.
You got to be kidding me!
I'm serious. I can't make this up.
During business hours.
During business hours. As a matter of fact, it's even stated in the presentment by the DA, Philadelphia DA, Sharon Piper. She compiled everything together. It's also mentioned that even in my case, the minute they took a large screen TV out of the home and went right down the street 5 neighbors away to try to sell the same TV.
This is amazing.
And these were crooks. I mean, and this is in broad daylight.
This is in broad daylight. Like I said, using official oppression, basically abusing their office powers, basically being able to acquire documents to legitimately enter homes under the supposition that, listen, your home is blighted, it's a danger to the neighborhood. We're going to have to, do whatever at all costs. And it was a big episode when I went there because there were like 3 big trucks. The police were there. And we looked at the police, and the police just backed up their paperwork because they weren't even aware.
So these city employees, their paperwork was they were falsifying documents.
Exactly.
The city did not give them this permission.
Exactly.
Oh, right. This is not corruption. This is thugs using their positions.
Right, official
This sounds to me like an inner circle. But take me back, Len. You have equipment by your friend's house, some expensive equipment. From what I hear, you're working on a video project.
Right.
He gets a small house fire.
Right.
Then the city officials get some paper. Well, they forge some documents, and they come in, and he literally catches them just walking away with equipment.
Exactly. And then like in simple numbers, it was us 2 against like maybe 15 employees and the police there backing them up. So
the police backing them up because they had all the paperwork saying it was okay.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly. And our losses were, I don't even want to go there, but just by myself, I've had projects that were appraised over $1 million, and by the loss of certain archived files, the next producer came in, and since we lost the contract, they made $11 million. So we're like really had a bad taste in our mouth about this.
Sure. So you have something tangible worth $1 stolen. You have files that they took away future things that you could not do.
Exactly.
And that's priceless.
Exactly.
Amazing.
And they were like, from what I heard in conversation with you, a company called International Wrestling Superstars had some master tapes that from an event, and that got stolen. That was
very huge. That was very huge because we were initially on paper to do that pay-per-view for $250,000. That was the initial appraisement of it.
Wow.
But it was worth way more than that. And also there was a lot of things that were compromised on there. A lot of celebrity files. I don't want to mention them right now because they would probably come over my house right now if I say it right now. But celebrity files, there were music files, there's images. These things, if they were to get into the wrong hands, can make a quick buck for someone else. But
like a bootleg.
Exactly. And that's a real big concern for me and my constituents.
Has anyone threatened you in this time?
No. I ain't afraid of these guys.
Is this all going to be a class action lawsuit from everybody?
I'm not pursuing it because some people, they may weigh their losses more than others. Like there were incidents. I'm going to forward you guys a copy of the presentment.
Actually, I got to correct myself. It's not really a lawsuit. It is a trial of criminality.
Right. But we will be, of course, pursuing for our losses.
Right. Then after that, then you would probably have a what is that? The civil lawsuit where you go for money.
That's right.
Absolutely.
What would you say if you had to estimate what you lost? What would you estimate that
I told you that the one person, I couldn't even put a dollar amount on because there were also sentimental items as well. because at the time I was going through divorce, so I was throwing out of my kids' things there. Everything got purged. Everything, documents, contracts. We've had contracts with Biloxi, Mississippi, for instance. That's gone. All of my kids' trophies and things, that's gone.
Trophies.
There were documents they were sensitive documents. I mean, I wouldn't say that I've had really confidential files on a lot of people. I'm not saying anything crazy, but if it gets out, that's what I was worried about.
Are these city employees behind bars today? I hope you tell me they're locked up and they're in prison awaiting their trial.
I believe they are. Mainly because of the conspiracy theories and the murder conspiracy thing that's also involved. So I know that there's at least about 10 outstanding charges that will keep anyone in.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, Glenn's going to tell us how this case got broken.
WYFI, Florence, Mount Holly, Philadelphia.